Kerry Evans. I'm on the Regional Council CIHT and I work for Mott MacDonald, Ops Manager of the DBFO in North Wales. I just wonder, in terms of the air quality, and there's been quite a lot of talk about that in the past year really, it's been highlighted in the media, in terms of your direction and your aims of keeping people moving and that sort of thing. Clearly there's a bit of a tension there with air quality because we know reduced speed improves air quality. So how does that marry up with where you're going?
So it is that is absolutely challenging. Certainly we experience it on parts of our network where we have had to set reduced speeds in order to sort of deal with the air quality issue. And actually it is the thing about really engaging with customers. So it was interesting, our original approach to that was probably not to engage very much with customers about the fact that we were doing that. And actually we've had to reverse that and actually go out and have a conversation with customers and a dialogue that says, actually, we apply these speed limits in this environment because actually there is a broader, greater environmental need here. So the dialogue with customers and helping them understand and manage their expectations around some of these things is really important, and we've probably resisted that in the past. We're in a very different place now.
From a local authority perspective, we do look enviously on Highways England in terms of the relationship you can have with the customer and the way you can respond to those, where a lot of our systems and technologies actually predate the iPhone. So people don't really think networks, i.e. your network or our network, they think journeys. Yeah. What advice can you give to local authorities about how you might be able to support and help hardwire a new kind of architecture, new conversation with the subnational bodies in terms of TfL, Greater Manchester, Transport for West Midlands, so that people actually can start their journey on the local road network, end their journey on the local network, and have a really, truly valuable experience all the way through.
Yeah, so we're no different to local authorities in that we're not massively mature in this space. We are in a sort of early stages of this as well. So a lot of our challenges will be exactly the same as local authorities in that it's rubbish in, rubbish out. So that the power of data is absolutely fantastic. That is where we are heading. We know that if we can tell our customers everything about what's going on our network, and we can join up with other networks, then actually you can create a bit of a story about an end-to-end journey. You can actually give choices. So it is all about connectivity of data. The challenge, of course, is that we have to really understand and get a handle on what we are ourselves delivering in terms of information. And so that's the basics bit that we need to fix. And once that's fixed, actually, the art of all of that is possible because you can connect all of that up and create the story about a customer's journey. So you can imagine almost picking up your phone in the morning and it's telling you normally go to work, on the M6, for example, but today you might want to catch the train. Or today you might want to, pick a different route. And that is all the technologies there currently exist to do it. And we're certainly talking with the right, people who could deliver that service. But a lot of effort has to be put in at our end in actually getting to a place where we are effectively planning and coordinating what we do to make that make sense in real time.
Closures or disruption on the motorway network, and how you can ensure that, when you do have to have traffic go on the local road network on a diversion, then there's some interaction with that local authority, that there isn't something else on that network that could cause further disruption. Yeah. So I think it goes back to the point you're making about, and John, about the ability to communicate with the different technology, I guess.
It's the tin cans and pieces of string, isn't it? Actually you're about to send, 2,000 vehicles off onto a local authority road. You might want to give them a ring. So I'd like to think that quite often we do. I suspect that sometimes we don't. But in reality, the ability to join all of that up so everybody's kind of got a picture of actually there's some disruption somewhere on these roads, and that's going to have an impact on these customers' journeys, and it's going to have an impact on the experience of other customers that are not even on our roads because we're sending customers off to join them. So it's all there, but it needs to be joined up.
It'd be good to have some acknowledgement that customers of the Trunk Road network also include people walking and cycling on public transport. They're not just in their own private motor vehicle or in their company's motor vehicle doing freight, especially what you've just said about diversions. They may take them down roads that are not suitable for the volume, maybe a cycle route or a key walking route to a school, and they may not be appreciating that. And some of the severance, we're hearing later about developments and the impact on sustainable developments. Some of the developments on the trunk road network are making those housing developments less sustainable and cutting off access to the neighbours. So the customers are also developers and the local authority planning departments, not just the local authority transport departments or highway departments. So some acknowledgement of that synergy with other modes and active modes in particular is quite important.
As I said, throughout our whole organisation, this is thinking about much more broadly about customers. So, as I mentioned, it's not just customers, it's communities. We are doing a lot of work around understanding our disabled road users, understanding we've got our accessible road users strategy, which is around pedestrians, cyclists, equestrians. So, all of that work's going on in the organisation, but it is really, getting everybody, whatever their role is in the organisation, to just think more broadly about the impact that they have on society, actually, not just the journey experience through the SRN.
I heard the other day that TfL started using Waze as a way of crowdsourcing data about a year and a half ago. They first assumed that it wouldn't be very accurate, but now I think it's one of their main sources of data, and it helps them get out to situations about 10, 15 minutes earlier than beforehand. I was wondering whether Highways England were considering use of crowdsourced data. It
really is just a question of us harnessing the right vehicle. There are, other outfits might apply, but it is actually, so at the moment we are currently developing our strategy for information and data, and actually all of those considerations are part of that, because it is part of delivering that big piece that we talked about earlier, which is connecting up the data, because the connection of that data and crowdsourced data in particular gives you really valuable real-time information about what's happening on the network. More valuable than any devices that we've currently got on the network, sort of doing that in the old-fashioned traditional way.
I get sort of moaned at from a lot of people is about the ignorance around smart motorways and the variable speed limit signs and how they operate. And I just wondered, what more could be done to get people to fully understand, what's happening, particularly when the speed limits sort of go up and down and how they impact then on the driver.
So I mentioned a sort of physical manifestation of that with the orange ERAs, but it's way more than that. So it's this whole issue around feeling safe in that environment. In particular disabled customers, they really struggle with smart motorways environment. They worry what will happen to me if I break down. So there will be a number of campaigns probably coming out later this year to help customers really understand what the smart motorway environment is, what you do, why you need to comply with the red X's, what the speeds mean. There is some work going on around the speeds as well, because there are some challenges around the variability of the speeds, and a recognition that doesn't always present what we want to present to the customer there. So there are a number of trials going on at the moment, looking at improving the appearance of the variability of speeds and making sure that they are genuinely what we want the customer to experience, but also a lot of publicity about the use of that environment and for different types of road user as well.
As a local Kent resident, our customers include foreigners coming in and seeing our lovely dirty edges to the roads. And we drive into France and they're all clean. That is a real customer impression that doesn't seem to be grasped at the moment. How are you going to deal with that? I know you've had one clean-up in Kent, but it's absolute tip. And that's the impression that visitors get as they come into England now.
We do a lot of work with local authorities and with our own supply chain in terms of delivering our own standards. It's a real challenge. We know there are particular hotspots that need regular attention and sustained attention. So we have a top 25 hotspots list that we go and tackle, and address those particular areas. So, there's a vast amount of work that goes on in trying to address this issue. It's particularly challenging. So some of it is actually just go and pick the stuff up. We get that. No sooner does it get dropped, we need to go and pick it up. But also there's things around, actually, can we get into the behavioural space? Can we do some more innovative things? So we've certainly drawn in organisations that help us look at some of those things. We've done things like introduce the big funnel bins at motorway service areas. And actually we've had some real evidence that that's reduced the amount of litter picks in those environments. So our HGV drivers come out of an MSA, they can drop their rubbish into the funnel bin rather than sort of using the hard shoulder at some later point on the network. And we've had some good results with that, so we're looking to roll out more of that type of thing. It is a challenging space, but you know, we are absolutely focused on it.
Just curious to know if you've engaged with ICS or similar for strategy and benchmarking.
Their CEO presented to our senior leadership team last week, so we have membership with them. And we recently featured on their sort of scoring, so we are not best in class in transport, it's fair to say, but it was actually really good that what it recognises that our customers are starting to recognise Highways England as a service provider. So whilst there is some work for us to improve upon it, at least it gives us some insight into what our customers are saying in terms of their relationship with us. So we're going to be doing more work. I spent some time with our account manager last week, and we're going to be doing some more work to see how we can exploit that membership and drive better customer service delivery. Absolutely.
To what degree are you engaging with the CAV innovators in terms of
a
future
huge
direction?
amount of part of the trials that are out on the A2 and M2, so the connected corridor trials, the trials in Coventry. We will be part of the trial where we are looking to put a fully autonomous vehicle on the network in the coming year, I believe. So, and there's a huge amount, and actually there's a project team that's dedicated to that connected and autonomous vehicle space in our safety and engineering and standards department.